Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
So today we are going to hopefully finish our story of the sleepers of the cave, and we had reached up till the point where one of the Ashab'e KAHAF, one of the sleepers, had gone to the shop to buy the pure food, and he had with him that silver coin that was 3 centuries old. You remember? Okay?
Yes.
Good. So, moving forwards, the shopkeeper was amazed to see such an old coin and suspected that this man might have found some old hidden treasure. So he took him to the king, who immediately recognized that he must be one of those men who had been lost for more than 300 years. So you see, the king had an idea that there was a group of men who were lost 300 years before. So, by order of the king, the date they were lost, their names and other particulars had been engraved on a lead slab, which was kept in the royal treasury. For this reason, they also came to be known as the men of the slab. This title of these men is also mentioned in Quran in verse number 9 that we had already studied. See? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا. أصحاب الكهف والرقيم. So they were known as Ashab'e KAHAF والرقيم. Raqim is the inscription, the slab. Alright, so they are the people of the slab. When the slab was taken out, it was confirmed that these were the very men who had run away from the city to save their lives more than 3 centuries ago. They immediately became the center of people's devotion. The new Roman king, Theodosius, himself went on foot to see them and seek their blessings. When these young men died, a place of worship was built at their cave as a memorial. So I'd like to recite verse number 21 from Surah KAHAF, which explains this point of view which has been detailed in the story. وَكَذَلِكَ أَعْسَرْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ لِيَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ وَأَنَّ السَّاعَةَ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهَا إِذْ يَتَنَازَعُونَ بَيْنَهُمْ أَمْرَهُمْ فَقَالُوا ابْنُوا عَلَيْهِمْ بُنْيَانًا رَبُّهُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِهِمْ قال الذين غلبوا على أمرهم لنتخذن عليهم مسجدا. And thus we made their case known to the people, that they might know that the promise of Allah is true, and that there can be no doubt about the hour. So here Allah is telling us that why did He make this story of Ashab'e KAHAF known to the people. The point one objective of this happening, this event, was that to make it clear to the people that Allah's promise is true. Which of the Allah's promise is Allah talking about?
The Day of Judgment.
The Day of Judgment. That He is the only one capable of making us die and bringing us to life again. Allah made it a point that it is not at all a difficult thing for Him to make people sleep for 3 centuries and then wake them up again. Similarly, it is not a difficult thing for Him to wake us up on the Day of Judgment after we have died. So, with this miracle alive in front of people's eyes, Allah made it clear that the Day of Judgment is going to come. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now remember, when they, the people of the city, disputed among themselves about their case, they said, "Construct a building over them. Their Lord knows best about them." Then those who won their point said, "We will verily build a place of worship over them." So Allah Ta'ala tells us that the people, after watching this miracle, they started having an argument with each other. Some of them said that we should build a place of worship. Some of them might have suggested some other things. But the people who won the argument, what they did, they established a place of worship over that point. Okay, so verse number 22. سَيَقُولُونَ ثَلَاثَةٌ رَابِعُهُمْ كَلْبُهُمْ وَيَقُولُونَ خَمْسَةٌ سَادِسُهُمْ كَلْبُهُمْ رَجْمًا بِالْغَيْبِ وَيَقُولُونَ سَبْعَةٌ وَثَامِنُهُمْ كَلْبُهُمْ قُلْ رَبِّي أَعْلَمُ بِعِدَّتِهِمْ مَا يَعْلَمُهُمْ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ فلا تمار فيهم إلا مراء ظاهرا ولا تستفت فيهم منهم أحدا. Some say they were 3, the dog being the 4th among them, and others say they were 5, the dog being the 6th among them, guessing at the unseen. So people started guessing how many were those people. Definitely there was one dog and some of them were people. So they started making their own guesses. Yet others say they were 7 and the dog being the 8th. Say, O Muhammad, Allah Ta'ala is commanding Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but you say that my Lord knows best their number. Only Allah knows the best. Okay? Only Allah knows how many were those people. No one knows about them, but only a few of them. So debate not about their number. That is, do not argue about their number with people, except with a clear proof which we have revealed to you. And consult not any of them about the people of the cave. So Allah Ta'ala through this ayah is telling us that if you fall into an argument with anyone about anything, about any piece of information that you do not have a clear idea about, it happens in the world, right? So what should you be doing in such situations? Only pay attention to the important lessons. Do not fight, do not debate over the trivial things. Like those people who started arguing over the little details of how many were the number of people, instead of paying attention to the miracle that Allah Ta'ala had brought in front of them. So the lesson is, do not argue with anyone unless you have a clear proof about something. It is a valuable lesson for your life. Alright?
Okay.
Now verse number 23 also gives us another very important principle for our lives. وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ لِشَيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا. And never say of anything, I shall do such and such thing tomorrow. إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ وَاذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ إِذَا نَسِيتَ وَقُلْ عَسَىٰ أَن يَهْدِيَنِ رَبِّي لِأَقْرَبَ مِنْ هَذَا رَشَدًا. Except with the saying, Insha'Allah, if Allah wills, and remember your Lord when you forget, and say, it may be that my Lord guides me to a nearer way of truth than this. So always when you are talking about doing something in the future with certainty, for example, I will go to the school tomorrow. If you are certain about anything and you are going to say it out loud with your mouth, never say without saying, Insha'Allah, if Allah wills. Okay? You must always say Insha'Allah whenever you're talking about the future with certainty. And if in any case you forget, you are a human being, you can always forget. So what should be your way? If you forget, then immediately remember your Lord. Immediately remember and say Inshallah. And say to Allah in your heart, it may be that my Lord guides me to a nearer way of truth than this. That it may be with this wrongdoing of mine, that a small forgetfulness of mine, it may be a cause that Allah guides me to a better way of truth through this. But say Inshallah at that point whenever you remember that you have forgotten saying it. Alright? So now we're done with this story of Ashab'e KAHAF. I hope the lessons are clear to you. Okay? And let me revise the 2 very important lessons at the end, which this author is telling us. The story tells us that those who put their entire trust in Allah will be helped by Him in unknown ways. And the story is also intended to tell us that there really is life after death. Okay? So do you have any questions? No?
No.
Okay. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.